this, like that, like this, like that, like this, like that.
Hello everyone, in this tutorial we will learn how to make a light mix clone or a light mix effect inside Cycles.
It's easy. Everybody can do it.
For Blender. As you know, that Cycles is way too powerful rendering engine, but some people say, okay, that Corona Render has light mix, Maxwell Render has light mix, V-Ray I guess has applied the light mix also. So what about Blender? Why it doesn't apply this? Maybe we don't need this a lot because we have view layers and all that stuff. But if you want this light mix approach that is inside V-Ray or Maxwell or Corona, because Maxwell was the first one to apply it. That is why I'm mentioning Maxwell here, because it wasn't light mix. It was named as something else, but I really don't remember. Because it was too old to remember this, because it was in Maxwell 2, I guess. So let's get into it. As you can see, that this scene is way too simple. It's just a monkey head with 3 lighting sources, and all you need to do is to group your lighting sources the way it should. So I'll hide this so we can see what we have. We have 2 light sources. One in a blue color, so I made it inside a blue collection, and one in the orange and one in the spotlight, and the spotlight is in white color. It does have white color here, and this one is orange, as you can see, and this one is blue. Okay, just making these kind of lighting colors pretty pretty clear, just to make sure that you see the effect inside Cycles. Is that when we do the light mixing, you will feel that, okay, this one does look like I've turned off the blue lighting, for example. So we will do collections for each lighting. What if we want to add another lighting source? Pretty simple. All you need to do is to add another lighting source. Okay, and we will keep it something crazy like green, or something that is way too obvious that it has a different lighting, and we will keep this green like 600 watts, and it's a point light, and maybe we can make it here. Anything that you need for lighting, you can apply it. And as you can see, this is the final image that we must have when we mix all the lightings together. So let's start making our mixing. But before we do that, we will have to make the green lighting that we have added recently in a group. So we will make a new collection and call it a green light or anything, as I've named all the lightings collection like that. But okay, it's not a big deal to have a cube here, but that means if I turned off the green lighting, it will turn off the cube too, which we don't know, which we don't want here. We want our cube back. So it will affect its visibility, because we are playing with visibility in the view layers. Very cool. Next step, we will create new view layers. So let's see what we have here. We have blue, orange, spotlight, and green. So we will turn off these layers, and we will just keep the blue lighting, and we will rename the view layer to blue, like this, and then make a new duplicate, and it will turn on all the layers. So you will turn off the blue, turn off spotlight, and turn off the green, and create an orange. Then we will repeat that. We will turn off these and keep the spotlight. Another one. And we will have finally the green lighting. Okay? Pretty cool. Now let's start light mixing. We will leave the view layers as they are. So when you change this, you will find that your view layer is changing it to whatever we turned off and turned on. So we will go to the compositor and use nodes, and as you can see here, it will create a composite of the render layers that we will start rendering and the compositor. Before we start rendering, you will have to duplicate this to 4 view layers as we have created. The first one will be blue, which is the default, as you can see, orange, and spotlight, as I have rendered these view layers before, so they are saved in the memory of the file, and green, which is not rendered yet, so it is not appearing. You won't find any images at the beginning of this process. Now let's start mixing. Of course, we will have to turn on the node wrangler, so you will go to add-ons and go for node wrangler and turn it on, because it works with any node setup that is inside Blender, like materials, and in the future will be particles. It's speeding up the process, so we will press Ctrl Shift like this, and it will do a mix like this, stepped. So you will have 3 mixes, and we want a 4th one, because this one will need in between them a mixing node with black, so we can control the blue channel or the basic channel if you have something. I also recommend that you don't make a lighting based on HDRI or world. If you are going to make it with world, you will have to make a duplicate of a new world that doesn't include or it has a black color in here. So if you want to play with HDRI and stuff, I suggest that you create a ball, a sphere, around the scene, and make it as a view layer, and you have to make it disappear like a BG or something. If you want an HDRI, all you need to do is to add a sphere like this one. It doesn't have to be high poly or anything, just a sphere that has a material, okay, and we will call it BG like this, and we will make an emission shader and connect this environment with it. This is the pretty direct approach of HDRI. So this is how it will look inside. Let's start our rendering. Here it is. It does really work. So we will turn off the blue. Here is the HDRI, how it will affect inside. You can change the strengths like environment, like the background. But I guess this will be more convenient to make it as a view layer instead of making a new world, and you will find yourself between many things, and sometimes it turns back to the HDRI, and sometimes it turns off, so it's a little bit clumsy. I didn't like this approach, so I'm preferring to create an actual object that we will place it inside a collection. And as you can see, you can control the power of it, and we'll just keep it 1, and we will see that we can make it stronger inside the rendering process, or the mixing process. So here we go, and we will call this sphere BG just in case. Okay, Control G and new collection BG. Okay. Careful that I'm using industry compatible key mapping, because I'm a foreigner. I'm not an actual Blender user, or not old one, just 1 year using a Blender. So I was using a 3ds Max for more than 14 years, so it's way too difficult to cope with the Blender key mapping. Anyway, let's go to the compositor, and we will create another view layer. It's a little bit too much, so we will collect these into a group. Control Shift and mix, and here we go. After doing all these mixes, it's important to change this mix to add instead of mix. This will allow us, if we have increased the value more than 1, it will give us the actual addition of the lighting. It will be more realistic. other than just fading in and fading out the values, it won't give us the actual lighting. It will be fake. So let's try this out. And of course, there is another thing to know, because we have added a new collection. So this collection will be on by default in all view layers. So you have to make sure that it's turned off. So we will turn off all the lights but BG, and then we will go to blue again and turn off the BG. Green, we will turn off BG. Orange, we'll turn off BG. And the spotlight, we'll turn off BG. And as you have noticed, if you used the Corona Render before, you will find that when you add a new lighting, it's gone in a set that is called unassigned. So this is like reassigning the lighting layers again. So we don't have to find our background in all view layers. It will be turned on all the day. You can just leave it, of course. It's your rendering. you know what you are doing, but just in case, you will have to turn it off in all view layers after adding a new collection. Okay, let's start our rendering and see what will happen. We will just change this to add, Control Enter. Alright, now the rendering has completed. Now let's see what we do have here. And as you can see here is that we have all the layers rendered, and here is the mix of them all together. So this will be the actual rendering. If we have turned on all the layers, let's see, you will find it the same. It will be the same look. This pretty ugly look. So you can make it with the denoising, so you can make sure that it is looking like the final render. Look, this is the rendering, it's the actual mix that we have done right now, and this is the viewport. Do you feel that there is any difference? I don't think so. It does look the same. So that is way too good to make us sure that we have found a way to make a light mix inside Blender. Yeah, you are rendering literally 5 times slower than the actual rendering. That if you are rendering all this lighting together, it will be way too faster. But what I've noticed is that Corona Render is actually slow. It is way too slow. And I've tried many scenes that I've created before in Corona Render and re-rendered it inside Blender, and I found Blender that it's a rocket when you use GPU compute and the adaptive sampling. It's crazy. There is a way huge difference. Maybe you can find some kind of here and there when you render using the CPU, but I don't know if applying Embry has enhanced that speed also, because all my trials was before 2.9. Now we are having Embry technology inside CPU, so way too crazy. The Blender organization is doing a way too good job. Okay, let's start mixing our lighting. Here it is. We have turned off the orange, and we have turned off the this dark one, and we have turned off the green. And this is HDRI. If we have fitted the view like this, you will find that we have HDRI, because I have just rendered on a very low samples and there is no portals. That it's why it looks a little bit noisy. You can include your portals inside BG slot or collection, so you do avoid this way too smudgy looking denoising. So here is the blue, as you can see, the orange and the dark, and here are the mixing. And we can do a group node for all these So we can make just a controller, one controller for all these mixings. All we need to do is to make a Control G, and here we go, and we are ready. But there is a problem, is that we don't have control here. It is just a connection between the images with a group nodes that I don't have any control about it. You can do a little tweak inside the group. I don't know why double clicking isn't working, so anyway, we will try to organize them so we know the arrangement. So we will have to like make this fac here, and this one here, and fac here, factor, I guess. It's not factor? Anyway, here we go. These are the 5 factors. So if we want to make sure that we are making a control about the blue one, the orange one, and etc., I guess that we have the first one was blue, then green, orange, spotlight, and BG at the end. So you can do a renaming for fac. This is AVGN, I guess. The token here, fac. It's in Node. So we will go for fac, and we will change these facts that we have here, and we will rename it something that is reasonable. We can keep it blue, and this one orange. So when we get out, we will find that we can mix it using this node group. Pretty easy, like this. Pretty fast and easy. I noticed that the blue isn't working for some reason, so let's go inside and see what is going on. So here we go. This is the blue. I guess we need to swap and mix this one above. I guess this is the problem. I hope so. Yeah. And if we turned off all these, you will find the blue channel, blue and orange together. You can decrease the blue lighting a little bit. You can turn on the spotlight. Look at the shadow. It's turned on like this, and you can increase the intensity to whatever you like. Someone would ask, what about if I want to enhance the lighting or make it maximized more than just the values that I have set inside the scene? Pretty simple. All you need to do is to connect a value, and this value will connect to your FAC or FAC, so you can increase the blue lighting like more than it should and turn off the rest to just see how it will look like. Look, as you have increased the intensity. This is the beauty of Blender, that you can work with the 32-bit images. That is way too good, and you can turn it off or just slightly turn it on, and it is working like charm. This is the spotlight. You can like increase the spotlight a little bit more for like this. Look, you can do literally light mix using only the images that you have rendered out. And that is the idea or the concept of light mixing in most of the programs that we use. Maybe they don't use it that same approach. Maybe they just isolate the lighting, indirect and direct lighting, and just to make sure that you can change the color. And I guess that we can't do that in this approach. It will affect the rendering itself. I don't know, because we don't change the color of the lighting only, we change the color of the whole image. So I don't think that will work with colors. It will just works with values, and I guess this does the trick. This is not intended to be used practically. It is just knowing that the technique is available in Blender, and this does prove something to me that I always say: if you can't do it in Blender, you just don't know how to do it. Blender does anything on Earth. It does everything you just imagine in computing in general. So it's just crazy. So hopefully this tutorial does the trick for you. And if you have results, it's just to show me, write in the comments and make a discussion, make this channel revive and does a good job, because you know, things are a little bit new to me, and I'm really excited to see how people think about this program. And of course, we will meet again. Bye.
Either way, destiny still arrives. Pew!